Hi guys, Josh. Oh, today is August 24th, setting out trail cameras. Most everyone's going to say it's a little early. Truthfully, yeah, you're right. There's still a lot of crops in the field. But you can do some pretty good pre-season scouting this way too. And I want to show you what a difference a year can make. A year ago, Iowa was pretty dry, pretty heavy drought conditions. This year, we've actually gotten well over an abundance of rain. But I want to show you. If you remember, about a year ago, when I started showing my little honey holes. This happened to be one of them right here, coming up. We're going to show you what a year can do difference. This was hardly grown grass a year ago. And now this year you can see it's pretty hardy grass already and thick. That looks like it's going to be promising. Okay, just for context, because I haven't looked at this yet this year, so you're actually getting my first impressions as well. But this is already grass-wise doing a hell of a lot better than it was a year ago at this time. Okay. This is one of my openings I'll walk into. This one we're actually going to move cameras around a little bit compared to where I had them last year. Last year I had two right before that turn, covering the turn. Now this year we're going to do something a little bit different. And just, this is gorgeous out here, even the sundogs. All right, couple things here quick. None of these cameras by any means are going to stay here forever. I likely am going to end up switching every single one of them at least twice. This is just to kind of get them out and get an idea where things are moving. But what I'm looking at is stuff like that. There's a natural little bed down area. What it drops back to is a bowl area that's a good 20-30 foot drop. And it extends quite a ways. So what I'm looking for with this one, I just want to cover. I just want to see what's popping in and out. Not necessarily what's all around, but just kind of see where some of the action looks like it might be coming from. I'm in a natural little bowl right here. And it opens up pretty good, so now my plan is kind of find the tree and see where it'll cover most of this bowl. So trail cam 1's out and it's just sitting overlooking this bowl, essentially. It'll cover the vast majority of this bowl, and it's actually sitting right back there on that tree. You can't even see the camera. Okay, on to camera 2. Alright, the reason I have that camera sitting on this side of the bowl, that's all 6-foot tall grass there, and then on this back side it's grass, small, shorter grass. I don't know exactly which kind it is, but this gets a lot of deer traffic. Creek line's right over there, just on the back side of them trees. So that kind of is what clues me in. This is my area I want to push. Coming up here, and I'll show you what I see. But about way up in there, about 250, 300 yards, that would be where the first trail camera is. Fully admit, I know I'm gonna miss deer coming through, and I'm okay with it. But like I said, this is just trying to give me a rough idea where I want to sit for the year. Couple disclaimers, guys, because this is state land. Please, please, please share the land. Just because I'm out here in August and my season doesn't start till December doesn't mean others don't have the right to use the same ground. Please share. Please be good stewards. And hunting season comes, guys, especially on state land, especially in the state of Iowa, it's first come, first serve. But what I'm also doing when I'm out here walking is I'm looking. What does that tell me? Okay, what I want to show you here, right up in here, 400 or 500 yards away, that's where my first camera is at. That's that original bowl. What even topos can't show you, not this grass, but this secondary deeper bowl. What I'm looking at here, and I'm not going to tell you where I'm at, but I'm in Iowa on public land. But what I already see, I'll see if you can see it. Be right there's a little bit of it. A lot of it is just, you can't see it real well on the camera here, but this grass is beat down and pushed down. There's something moving through here. So I want to put a camera down here in this bowl and see what's pushing. Alright, so there's 2 cameras down out of 6. Why this one is actually extra important is you can sneak a peek in through there. Let's see if I can get a little bit closer here safely. There's creek line right there. And then some kind of trail right in there and up and out. That's why I'm tagging that area. That's why we're looking at that. It may turn out to be nothing, and that's fine. It's August. My season doesn't start till December. Shit's gonna move around between now and then. But you know what? We're gonna keep a look, and we're gonna adjust things as needed. Alright, next camera has a little bit of walk for me. So while we're walking, I want to do a quick little PSA. I hunt 90% of the time on state-owned land, public use land, and that's A-okay. If you're gonna do that, guys, please, please, please play by the rules. Walnut. Actually, no, crabapple. Nope, walnut. Never know what you're gonna find out in nature. I didn't know there was a walnut tree back there. And I sat under it last year. But please, if you're gonna hunt state ground, play by the state rules. As much as it sucks some days. Another little trailhead right there. But as much as it sucks, play by the rules, boys. It'll save you time and money in the long run. Hell, I don't need a wreck. I do this every day. So, ideally, where I want to set up, if it sets up like fall did last year, this is what I'm looking at. Got a little natural raise here that I can see most of the way down into that bowl, that side. Right up there is the natural bowl that I pushed last year, and I had deer sit about right there last year. Problem is, right out here across the highway, probably a quarter mile, honestly, it's private property, and I don't like lobbing shells anywhere near close on it. So that's something to always keep in mind. And watch your aims. What I'm looking at right there. Natural little hole there, and I'm sure it's got the tree or the trail line all the way down to the creek, which is right up in there beyond the trees. I'm playing right along edge of state-owned land and private-owned land. If you're gonna do this, guys, please be smart. Please know the state laws in your area. Another real nice bed area, travel area. Not necessarily a bed, excuse me. But over here caught my eye, and I'll show you why. I did walk through this a couple of times last year, just based off reports I was hearing from other hunters that were using this. Nothing big was coming out of it. The problem is, and I'll show you here, but what drew my eye, she got cut bank. Right in here, you got a natural cut in the bank line. Now, if you look really closely here, remember, this is only August. My deer season doesn't get going until December. You can definitely see travel has come through here a lot already. And there's open water right on the other side. So what we're gonna do is we're gonna back off this trail. When I told you guys this is going to end up being about a 3.5 mile hike. That might have only been one way. It's a long hike that Josh does. But here's another bit of that cut back in the bank, and there, I don't know if you can see it real well, but right in there, there's a path already worn. And what I'm betting is that back in here, a lot of deer use this as a natural bed down area, just the way it's beat down. I'll show you. There you kind of see what the normal grass height looks like. Then as you get in here, you can see a lot of it's beat down already. So I'm betting, without knowing for sure, and right up in there is another cutback on a trail line, but it's pretty steep. It's probably sitting like that. So I'm betting deer sit down in here during the middle of summer, during the hot days, because that's all pretty canopy covered. And you got a lot of canopy throughout here. So what am I looking for? Truthfully, don't know. On this side. And right there you see, right there is another trail. And what it does is it goes down and tucks to the left and then cuts back right along the river line. Alright, here's what I wanted to show you guys on this part, and why I will be putting a camera up around here somewhere. I don't know exactly where, take it back, I think I found where I'm going to put camera initially. Again, all of this is very much subject to move. You never know, overgrown in the weeds, you don't see it, but there's a hell of a log right there. But this is what I'm stalking. This is what I'm seeing. Lots of travel paths already. More beat down old logs, but easy access to water. And come winter, a lot of this fills in right here. All this pretty much fills in, and it's a good 15 feet below ground level. And if you look, public use land, that means there's a car right there. That's not mine, but they're welcome to use this just as much as I am. PSA again, guys, share the land. My truck would be behind that tree right there. As the crow flies, we're probably only a couple hundred yards. If you look closely, right up in there, the white vehicle would be about right there, and they're sitting right in there fishing. So, found another spot I want to put a camera. How do I decide where? What am I looking for? Survey the ground here. Do I see travel paths? And I know this is early, so I'm not going to see a lot of it. So what I'm looking for is holes in the ridgeline across the way right there. Looks like there's a pretty good used trailhead. And back here, back to the south a ways, there's 2 or 3 good little trailheads. There's that one again. Another one right in there, smaller, so I'm betting that's coyote use. But I'm just curious. I'm curious what this pops. So what we're going to do. And my cameras are good for about 50 feet, 50, 60 feet. They're nothing expensive. But what we're going to do is set up a camera to look out like this and just kind of watch that trail area. Alright, I just want to show you this real quick, guys. Right back in here, it's just a natural pathway, but it's heavily, heavily wooded. I'm not going to poke in today, but come December, once some of this green starts growing down, I may poke into it and push camera out that way. This kind of gives you an idea what that is. But there's another little natural gully bowl, however you want to call it, over there. And the creek line is sitting over there. So, based off what little I remember from last year, deer run this pathway. Something's running, because right there's a nice hole. And this is all state land. All of this here is state land. There could literally be coyotes right there on the other side of that tree line right there, and you'd never even see them. It is that thick in here. So what I'm looking for here, there's a spot up here quite a ways yet. We may not push all the way to it this round. This first couple of rounds we may push back later as winter starts to hit. But up in there, there's field work. There's cornfield right up next to it. And I know deer travel that path heavily. So we may end up pushing the camera all the way up here. But there's another hell of a trail. I don't know if you can see it. Right there you can kind of see, I mean, it's a tight little squeeze. But once you get past that first couple of foot, it opens up pretty good again. But right up there on the other side of that little jutty, where the trees jut out over here, that's cornfield. So while we may walk it today, we may not even set a camera up out here, out this end. We may just explore. I don't know if you can see it, but right in the tree line about where my finger's at, there's a hell of a nice tree branch that at first glance kind of looked like a deer head sitting there. And it wouldn't surprise me. Truthfully, it wouldn't. Okay, correction. It's not a tree branch. It's probably sunflowers and Missouri goldenrod. But I mean, this is state land still clear back here. Just more natural wooded areas. If I really wanted to push, I can get up by where those fishermen were, just real close to the bank. But I'm not that interested, because that's a long push. So, and just to show you guys how far it is, you can't even see where we came in on this north side. It's back behind these trees and jogs to the right pretty good. We're probably, honestly, a quarter mile, half a mile one way from where our truck was parked. I mean, that's the distance I'll push in. Yeah, this is why I pushed back this far this year. All this natural beauty back here. If you look right there. No, correction, right up in here, there's a hill of something. running. Because there's one hell of a nice little breakout area up in here. So, let me get to camera 3, or camera 4, excuse me. Let me get that one set in a place I like, and then I'll get back to you guys. So I have a correction. It's bean field this year, not a cornfield. But again, this is why it is very, very, very important to know your property lines, where state land ends and private property ends, or begins. Because if I would hunt that, and I believe it is private property, I haven't looked at it. I don't like pushing it, truthfully. But if it is private property and the landowner wants to be a dick, it can be up to a $10,000 fine, loss of my gun, loss of my hunting privileges for life. Yeah, that's soybean field this year. So maybe, yeah. I just don't know how the hell he gets it in here. Like I said, I'm exploring this upper half a lot more this year, guys. So you're going on a trip with me. This is all public land to this side. And there you go. I mean, that'll give you a good view of what some of that underbrush and undergrowth looks like, and why I refuse to hunt through it if I can. Truthfully, it's just hell. Being one guy, okay, let's say I get a deer on that, that's half a mile walk I gotta walk myself out. And then another half a mile I gotta drag the deer on top of it, and dressed out, a decent deer is probably 120 to 140 around here. Not a drag I look forward to. But let me go figure out where I'm going to put these last 3 cameras, and then I'll get back to you guys. I want you guys to sit here and just listen for a second. Just listen to the natural sounds. All I wanted to do is show you guys how much rain we've got this year versus last year. Last year this was all bone dry. This year I bet there's a good foot of water in the bottom. This was pretty much dried out last year at this time. Okay, so we're gonna take a little potty break. Josh is gonna throw on a sweatshirt because the bugs are starting to come out, and some of these shades are just a hair bit chilly. And then I'll be with you in a little bit. Again, we're just, more than anything, we're getting my ruck in that I haven't done in a while. But at the same time, we're taking advantage of it. Throwing the backpack on to bring out trail cams. We're not even doing any shooting at all today. My shoulder's been acting really funky lately, so we're holding off shooting, period. But the whole time we're walking, we're watching our steps. You never know what kind of trail might pop up. Just something to always keep an eye on. All right, going from those deer tracks, this is what it opened up to. Big open hole area. Definitely an area with a lot of movement because there's a lot of cover. Problem is this is all fucking sand. And there's creek line down there. So, while we may not put a camera here, what we will do instead is just mark it, and we'll mark it as a high travel area, and it might be an area I come and just walk up a couple of times to see, because it opens up on the backside to this. So it is definitely an area that is worth keeping an eye open. I think I see where I'm going to put a camera. I think I'm going to end up putting a camera on the side of the hill over there. Peek back in here because this is a pretty natural deep bowl. Okay, we're going to put the next camera right up here. What we've got on the back side is open field, open field. Up there on that ridge is train. But you see a lot of open field. I'm going to dig back into there a little bit because it looks like that might push. But that hill, we saw the trails come up there and then wheel off into here, and onto the backside there's a lot of action moving. Alright guys, it's 7:30 already here on Sunday night. If I can get all this downloaded yet tonight and start doing a layout, it's going to be late. So we've got 4 cameras out covering a pretty wide chunk of property. Not everything I want to cover. There's a couple areas I can still come back in. I've still got 2 cameras I can play with. And then I've got 4 or 5 more I could use. I just have to make a phone call to go get. What I'm looking at is this big open area like this. Creek line right there. Creek line is right down here. I'll show you. We'll come up here real quick. Great big open areas like this. These are the hard traveled areas. This is just some back side footage. I mean, this is the shit I look for deer hunting. Where's the natural travel path gonna be? This is what I look for. My general rule of thumb, what I'm trying to do is identify travel patterns. Because truth be told, by the time December comes, and my deer season hits, most of these deer aren't going to follow these natural paths. They're going to be so skittish, any little thing that sets them off, they're going to be gone. But what we're trying to do is identify areas that naturally they want to move. So that come December, I can kind of use that as a potential setup area. Not a deer path. If I had to guess, just the way everything's set in it, to me, looks like a coyote or a fox. But again, what I'm looking at, just some natural timber. Literally, right there is where we walked in, and we just came on the back side of it. And all we're doing now is exploring. What I might try and do, not tonight, because I'm going to call it a night, but probably next weekend, search down in there. Next weekend's Labor Day weekend. I have an extra day to look, to dig. I know a couple buddies were talking about going shooting, but I don't know. We might pull out trail cams, because this is what I was seeing a while back. This is what had my attention. These little natural bowls like this. Little step areas. I can almost guarantee you something will be back here. But with that, guys, take care. Be safe if you're hunting. Follow the state laws. And pick up after yourselves, please. Because I get tired of seeing crap laying down in the woods because someone decided, oh, someone else can pick it up. Pick up your own stuff. Leave no trace, boys. Please. Alright, with that, as soon as I can find my way out of this little bowl here, there we go. There's my hole. No, that's not. That's quicklime. With that, behave yourselves. Be good. Take care of each other. And leave a legacy that your kids would be proud of. And for those of you that don't have kids, nieces, nephews, your friends, leave a legacy. Leave a positive legacy, even if it isn't in deeds. Even if the legacy is just in a good deed versus monetary. Be good. And help the next generation out. I'll talk to you guys later. Have a good one.